what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist. And if someone was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist.
Gang, I don't even know how to explain this. Like, you have to watch it. Have you seen pieces of this? See it all in context right here. This is the RCMP, one of our national institutions. Goodness gracious, guy, like, get it together. I don't know if this is gonna rub Canadians the right way. The RCMP seems to have a knack for that. Let's see how this guy explains it. Our institutions are crushing, imploding under this current federal government. Let's take a look. Hard to imagine.
Oh, yeah. Staff Sergeant Camille Habel. Sergeant Habel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
First, I wanted to ask you, what initially tipped off the RCMP to this alleged plot?
It's information that we got at the national security team.
Specifically, was that information? Was somebody looking at this social media page, or was there information from somebody who might have been involved, an anonymous tip?
I can't really get into how we got the information or who gave it to us, because otherwise people would never share information with us again. But it's very normal, and it happens quite often that national security investigations will start with information either coming from a partnering agency, from an international partner, or from someone from the public.
And can you clarify, too, how long the 3 of the 4 accused individuals had been allegedly engaged in military-style training, which is part of the details that we got from that release?
Well, our investigation started in 2023 in the spring, and then what we were able to discover was that some activities started in 2021.
And what more do we know about when and how these individuals were actually planning to execute their plan to seize land in the Quebec City area? How were they intending to do that?
What I can tell you is that in that ideology in general, quite often we would see a desire to create a new society, a desire to live by different values, and wanting to change or create some kind of chaos so that they could take over society to create it and live it the way that they want.
Is there any indication that there could be more individuals involved here?
Well, we know that because of the Instagram account, that there are more people interested in that ideology. We know that that ideology is an issue in Canada right now, and it's something that we worry about and that we look into. So it's not a case that will fix the problem. It is really a societal problem. And what makes that ideology very complex is that it's not a one belief ideology. So when people are frustrated about something, they add their own frustrations and grievances to the ideology. They take a little bit of what they want from anything. So in this case, we're talking anti-authority, anti-government, but quite often it's mixed with, could be misogyny, racism, and then that becomes the ideology, and then proving and showing that ideology becomes very different because it's individualized.
We assume that there were, of course, agencies involved here, including the RCMP, but because these were active duty members of the Canadian Armed Forces, wondering how involved the Canadian Armed Forces was in this investigation, how much cooperation there was.
They cooperated as much as they needed to cooperate. It remained an RCMP investigation, but national security is a shared responsibility. And within our team, there's also always members from the provincial police, like the SQ in our case, and city police, like Montreal and Laval. And then we got help from the Quebec Police Services also, and the SQ.
Were the arrests without incident?
Yes, we always make sure that public safety is the first thing we worry about when we make arrests. Our ERT team, so emergency response team, with the help of, again, Quebec City, the SQ, and the Ontario team, made sure that it was done as safely as it could be. And again, really the safety of the public is at the center of our actions.
Is it possible to get more detail on that? The arrests were this morning. Was it at the residence of any of the individuals?
I'm not sure where they arrested everyone, but we always have like arrest plans, and we try to make sure that our arrests, especially when so many firearms or possibility of weapons are involved, that we do it in the place where it's the most safe for the individuals, their families, the neighbors, and anyone else in the community that might be close by.
Given that there have been concerns about extremism within the Canadian Armed Forces, there's a 2022 report pointing to an increase in members being involved in extremist groups or being connected with, is there any anticipation that there could be more charges laid here?
Not in this case, but it's something, of course, that we are looking into. When we talk about anti-authority or anti-government issues, quite often it just happens that there's a profile of people that have a set of knowledge and skills that could help in putting something like that together. We can think of police officers also, or it could be a doctor if that's needed in that new society. So it's a possibility. It's everywhere. Like I mentioned, it's really a society issue. It's not something that's happening only in the armed forces. Being anti-authority in general is really something that we're seeing even in youth that have nothing to do with the army, but are not happy with what's happening around them.
And when you're finally, I wanted to ask, when you're talking about seeing individuals engage in that anti-authority and perhaps escalating their beliefs or their motives in that level, I'm wondering what the public can do in order to be vigilant, or what they can do to help in trying to ensure that there is safety and security on that front.
Well, radicalization in general quite often will show by people isolating themselves and changing their behavior, like changing what they're saying on a subject, like becoming more extremist. And if someone was very believed in equal gender rights, but all of a sudden are leaning towards like traditional values, and that might be a sign that they're becoming more extremist. But we also have to remember that having the most extremist views is perfectly legal in Canada, and that it's only acting with violence to prove that view that becomes a criminal offense.
Well, thank you so much for offering some clarity here. We appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. Somebody here is going to have to let me know what to think. Am I losing my mind? Did I just see that? Traditional values might be extremists? By the RCMP, they're saying that. And telling people to, well, if you see somebody, this is not a smart tactic to tell your neighbors, to tell on their neighbors. Like, if you see anything suspicious, traditional values are suspicious now? Woke, it's not a real great state of affairs in Canada. That's how awake I am. Aaron, Canadian Looney, what the hell is going on? Let me know in the comments. Smash that subscribe, hit the like, share with somebody. This stuff is happening in real time, man. It seems to be accelerating. Catch you in the next video. Aaron, Canadian Looney, thank you for watching this one. We're out for now.
The one we call Canadian. Canadians.